Hello everyone and welcome to another draft of Brothers War, and again an easy first pick and also a very strong pack. Well, first of all, the Siege Veteran is just a bomb rare, amazing ability, of course getting those free counters every turn and you know, even getting some tokens every now and then, although usually Siege Veteran might be the target for removal first, so you don't get the token in that case when it dies itself. But you know, if your other soldiers trade in combat, you can still make some tokens. Other good cards in the pack that I would be happy to first pick are the Junkyard Genius, and I guess I wouldn't mind first picking a Scrapwork Mutt or the Scrapwork Cohort. They are actually quite darn good cards. Um, and the Recruitment Officer is a nice first pick too. I still think the Junkyard Genius is just such a strong card that even if it is a two-color card, I'd rather take it over the other options if the rare wasn't as good as it is now. Alright, so I get another white rare. There's a Soul Partition, which is better than a Bounce Spell, but not by a great amount. But of course, the fact you can bounce your well, first of all, you can just save your own stuff and recast them without extra tax. But making the opponent cast more for the thing, pay more for their thing, is gonna be, of course, quite nice. I'm just not sure if it's the pick here. It actually might. This pack is quite weak. Now there's a Lodestone Golem, but as a 4 mana 5/3, it's not like that amazing of a stat line. It's maybe, I mean, would I run a vanilla 4 mana 5/3? I don't think it's an automatic inclusion in a deck. The 4-drop slot can get very crowded, so I don't think it's that good. And sometimes you can make this to be, the ability can be a benefit for you, or sometimes not. I think I'm not going to take that, and this is a fairly big pack. There's also an Evolving Wilds which you could take, but I think the Soul Partition is good enough that if I end up being white, I'm happy to have it in my deck. And of course, because of the Siege Veteran, I definitely want to end up in white here. Now, okay, there's the Vidic Retro Artifact, which I already have a playset of, so I don't have to worry about redrafting. I'm definitely not taking it just for 40 gems. Ambush Paratrooper, Lay Down Arms, up, decent white cards. Bushwhack is good green card, but the Boulder Branch Golem is good card as well, mostly a green, but you can play this in some non-green decks if you have a lot of Power Stones. The pick here, there's also the Wing Commando, which is good. So my question is, do I just take the Paratrooper, which I think I might like a little bit more than the Lay Down Arms, because I don't really like giving 3 life to opponent, and most white decks are usually somewhat aggressive at least. There's also a non-zero chance this will come back to me at pick number 11. And I might play it if I'm like mono white, but I'm gonna take the Paratrooper here. Let's keep it white for now and see, because I could be mono white, or maybe I will wait until I have a clear picture of what other color is going to be open to draft alongside white. This pack doesn't have anything too exciting, so I'm going to take the Mistras Bauble. Nothing wrong with that. You can just play this to have, sort of a 39 card deck to, have a higher chance to find your best cards. For example, my deck already has a bomb rare, so this is a pretty beneficial card to run. 0 mana, draw a card, even though it comes with a slight delay. And I would take an actual good card over it, but I don't think something like Military Discipline or whatever else this pack has is that great. If I knew I was green, yes, I would take something like a Stalwart here, but I don't know if I'm gonna be green. I can take the Bauble here. You can also synergize with it with certain kind of cards. Alright, so there is like a Tokasis Amulet, which I could take if I want to stick to just being white. And if I'm mono white, I wouldn't mind having a Dixite in the deck either, but I wouldn't take it this early. This usually comes quite late. There's also like the Allo Animist, but I have nothing more green. There's the Perimeter Patrol. I don't think it's that great. It's a decent curve filler as a 3 mana 3/3, but not really a reason to move it into green. And I don't really have any synergy for this Allo Animist either. I could take the Stern Lesson. Gigamole isn't bad, but I think I'm going to just take the Amulet. I don't mind having it in my deck. I like the card quite a bit, in fact. Alright, so So it's not like white is super open and I'm getting past some amazing white cards. That's absolutely not the case. So I don't know if I can keep myself on the mono white lane here. And now of course I can decide on my second color based on my pack 2 opening. Who knows if it's a non-white bomb rare, which will just dictate what I'm gonna draft alongside white. But now that I'm not there yet, I don't think the Survivor. I think it's a playable card, but it's not really that good. If I'm gonna be blue-white, I don't mind having access to the bounce, but I have already one bounce spell sort of here. I think I like the Audacity more. Maybe Supply Drop is fine too, but I'm gonna still take the Audacity. It's the most cost-efficient card there if I end up green-white. That deck usually is quite aggressive, so the Audacity is a card you are, I think, somewhat happy to run in that color combination. Now, I do have a chance to beat just mono white, and even though I don't like giving the 3 life, but if I can exile like 5 drops or 4 drops with this thing with consistency, it's a little bit different story. That's a nice, tempo advantage because it is only a 1 mana spell. So I'm gonna take it now. Maybe the other one comes back to me too. Another option here would be something like a Stern Lesson or one of these black cards, but I haven't a strong indication of any other color being super open, so I can try to make it a mono white deck. I guess here I could take the infantry in case I'm become a red-white deck, or I can just take something like a supply drop here, but I think there's an energy refractor too. Sadly my white cards don't really care about it, but okay, it could be the infantry, the supply drop, or the refractor. I don't really know which is the most interesting one. Let's try to see if the mono white can be a thing, and I'll take the supply drop here. Okay, I got Warlord's Elite, which I'm happy about. I wouldn't have minded about the wings either, but yeah, the Elite is a nice white card. I still get fairly late here. I think. Okay, with 3 out of 4 creatures are soldiers, so this is actually playable in white decks or blue-white decks that both have a lot of soldiers. So at least I will pick it there now. All right, so okay, I'm gonna take the laydown arms over the 40 gems, and I think I'm try to now be mono white or at least mostly white, so that I can actually exile some expensive cards with 1 mana. Alright, repair and recharge. Don't really think it's going to work here that well. I'd rather have access to the discipline, although I'm not a big fan of that card. I got the dig side too, so it was a fairly weak pack, but I kind of got everything I wanted. Even the Survivor of Colis came back to me, so white was open, but there weren't that many good white cards in this entire pack one. Okay, Helm of the Host. Alright, well there's... First of all, I could take it for redrafting purposes. I still need 2 of these things. And yes, I do have a playset of those regular Dominaria Helm of the Host, but I'm just completing all the sets, even though it makes no sense in this. I mean, I will never need more than 4 of these cards, of course. Probably won't be needing 4 either, but hey, set completion is not about using the cards, it's about collecting all the cards. Right, so I could take it because it's of course a good card. The other options in here are Recommission, Airlift Chaplain, Avenger, I guess Tower Worker, but that is quite low in priority. But this will be a good card. If I don't have a lot of expensive things, this can be quite nice. Yeah, I'm gonna take it for that reason, that I will be playing this in my deck, and also because it will get me closer to set completion. Alright, there's a Cavalry, Chaplain, another Elite. So it's not going to be the 5-drop. I have already one 5-drop, and then the Helm of the Host is a really mana-hungry thing. I want to have one of the cheap creatures. Well, I guess this is not exactly cheap, but if you have enough early drops, this can often be a 3 mana 4/4. 3 mana in the sense that you use 3 lands to cast it. And then, of course, you have to tap something else too. Chaplain is good, though. It doesn't get my... It does get one of my bombs. It does get me Veteran, it doesn't get me the Helm of the Host. Okay, I think I'm gonna take a Chaplain because I already have one Elite, and in the previous pack the Elite came pretty late back to me, so so there's a chance I can get the Elite still in this pack too. Alright, I mean that same Elite I just passed. Alright, I don't think I have any of these Mystic Forges. Now this is just unplayable in this deck at least. This actually could be played in some very artifact heavy decks. Definitely. But I'm not going to be such an artifact heavy deck. So the question is, I don't even think I care about the disenchant here, because I have seen this go later. This might come back to me as pick 11, and it's a sideboard card only. So the question is actually between the Scrapwork Moth, which is an actually good card, and the Mythic Rare. But I guess I want to at some point complete the set, so I'm gonna take the Mystic Forge here, and I, understanding that the actual pick for the deck was the Scrapwork Moth, but I'm still doing the set completion thing, and I had none of those cards. Alright, so here we are. No white things, but there are two very good red things. Excavation Explosion and a Research Desk here. Now, even if I have 2 lay down arms in the deck, that doesn't mean I can't play like 5 mountains in the deck and 12 plains to have access to these red effects. I'm just not sure which I want to have. This is a really good removal spell, but this is such an efficient card. I think I'm actually taking the Research Desk for the reason that I have the where it is, the Elite. Where is it? Oh, come on. Here, oh yeah, it's the, the bonus art, so it looks a little weird. Anyway, this thing actually wants you to have some cheap cards in the deck, and of course Mithras Bubble and Research Desk are very good for that. So, and I might have more of these cards coming in, so the Research Desk is really good with that. And I can also use this even without drawing any mountains. Here I might take the Levitating Statue. I'm not sure what will be the final count of non-creatures, but obviously this pack is fairly weak. I don't really like the Ocean Medic, so let's take the Statue. And here, Power Plant Worker, Lora's Escape. I guess I'm gonna take the Escape, but I mean, this is 6 creatures only. I need some actual creatures. I just don't really want to have a Power Plant Worker. I need something that is cheaper. So I'm gonna take the Escape here for now, but I really need some number of ideally cheap creatures, not necessarily Tocaceous Amulet here. Well, I mean, I'm not really playing the altar. Don't think I have that many creatures I wanna sacrifice. Yeah, no Unearth, no Scrapwork Cohort, or anything that actually synergizes with this thing. So let's take the Amulet. I'm not sure if I wanna play that many in the main deck, but I picked it there at least. Alright, there's a Combat Courier, which you could play even without having access to Unearth. I can play the Juggernaut too, because I will probably put a couple of mountains in the deck, but it's, I mean, I have 2 Amulets already. I'm just taking the Courier here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna play it, but that's what I'm gonna take. And here I get these expensive options back from this pack, so Recommission, of course, is quite nice. It returns, for example, the Siege Veteran. And I really don't want to play a 6-drop when I already have a couple of 5-drops here. So let's just take the Recommission, even though my creature count is so low. I'm never gonna play 2 of these DC planes, so I'm just taking a random uncommon. I guess this can be used against opponents that have, the Mithras Foundry. Is that a creature land? Okay, Blitz Automaton. I suppose it's a creature I can play if I'm playing red anyway. Sometimes I can pay it for 3 mana. Alright. Mightstone's animation. Let's take the animation. I don't think I'm gonna play double escape either, but maybe I can move to blue still. I'm not playing any of those cards, so I'll take the uncommon. Whatever. Okay, very disappointing pack too. White wasn't open at all in this direction, and now I'm getting a black bomb rare here. Actually, one of the few rares in this main set that have 0 copies of. Unsurprisingly, people do pick it very high. So that is actually splashable bomb rare, because you don't have to be able to cast this on turn 2 to make it worth running. And the other option in this pack is like a Warlord's Elite. I don't like that I have 2 laydown arms and I'm looking to splash multiple different colors, but it is the best card in the pack by a mile, and I can splash it, so I will take it actually. Yeah, I'm not going to take the Elite over it. That's just not happening. I hope to have access to some Evolving Wilds now, but there's also Legions to Ashes now, which I could play now that I will be playing black here. Alright, there's an airlift chaplain, but I think it's a pretty easy Allegiance to Ashes. I'd lack removal, and I'm going to play black. Okay, let's do it. Okay, there's an Evolving Vault. Oh man, there is also a Mistrust Research Desk number 2. Oh, that's a really tough pick because I think... Well, first of all, I should just cut the animation thing, and about the rest of the cards, I'm not so sure how many of them I'm happy to run. Problem still is I have only 10 creatures, and that's assuming I run all of the creatures I have here. Evolving Vault is really good. I guess I don't need that many mountains for this thing, like, but I want to have a swamp. Man, the research desk is so good, but I think I'll just take the Evolving Wilds to make my mana not worse, better. But it's a really tough one. Okay, now I can take the Scrapwork Mud here over something like an Amulet. I will have at least one mountain in the deck because of the bubble here, and the Evolving Wilds making it very easy to fetch it. I'm not sure I can anymore play the dig site, but it's fine. Yeah, Mud is very easy pick. Let's just move on here. Okay, how about this pack? Very disappointing pack. I have no interest in playing any of these cards. I just don't care about this. I'm not playing enough red sources to make the Rock Hunter playable. Discipline now. You need to now. Not really. I have some artifacts, but it's not really. I'm not playing a 4 mana 2/3. That's just not happening. So I'm gonna take a random card here. I can't splash for the double red, so I'm gonna just take something like the rare here for gems. Alright, this is much better pack. Actually, this pack has 2 cards I wouldn't mind having. The Loran is going to find some number of targets, but I'm going to take the Chaplain because it can also find me my Misery Shadow, not only the Siege Veteran, so let's take the Chaplain. How about the mana curve? I don't think I have enough 2-drops here. I mean, do I? I guess the Lay Down Arms count as early plays, so yeah. 1, 2, 2. Okay, that's not enough 2-drops. Here I'm gonna take, of course, the Hero of the Dunes now that I'm playing black. Just gonna be easy pick here. Lay Down Arms number 3. Well, I mean, it's the only card I'm gonna play here. After all, I'm not an aggressive deck. I'm something like a control deck with bum rares. So these are good at buying me some time. So I don't mind having 3 of them in this particular deck. Alright, I can take the Elite now. Also, it's very decent with the recommission I have. Becoming a 5/5 for 2. I don't need the Tower Worker that much. So yeah, don't know about how my colors will work, but maybe I'll figure out something. Okay, I can take the Warblow now that I will have access to some number of swamps. I don't necessarily always will be able to have it on turn 2, but it's gonna always be a 6-drop, and I think I'm gonna play enough swamps to make it a card that is still castable at 2 fairly often. I don't think the Ocean Medic is gonna be played here. I'm just taking 20 gems here. I don't care about the other stuff in this pack. And triple Onulet. Well, I guess it's like a possibility I will sideboard into 3 of those. Yeah, no, I'm taking the Firebomb, which I never have sideboarded in, but who knows, maybe sometimes you can. Maybe one time before the set is over, I will sideboard that thing in. So, cut all these for now, and I think the combat courier is unnecessary as well. So this is 30 cards now. I don't think I need the Blitz Automaton either. I suppose I can put this to the 2-drop slot. Alright, Power Blade is definitely unnecessary here now that I have no plans to being anything like an aggressive deck. I don't think I like the Survivors of Corliss yet. I mean, they have one good reason to be here, at least one of them. I think I'm not gonna play at least 2, but it is also nice to have 1-drops for the Warlord's Elite, because the dream is to play, you know, this on turn 3, and in this deck it's possible. Either I play 1-drop permanents or a 0-drop permanent on turn 1, and then on turn 2 I can play a 2-drop permanent, and then on turn 3, assuming I have the 3rd land as well, this will be castable by tapping the prior plays. So the Survivor of Corliss does that much. Discipline I don't need. do think the Lawrence Escape is main deckable, but it's also a cuttable card. I might cut it, but let's see if there's some easier cuts here. I like all the 2s. Supply drop, and maybe like 1 on it. I think, well, first of all, am I gonna play 16 or 17 lands? Because I won't be needing that many mountains. But the only cards that care about red are the MUT and the research desk. You know, the unearth costs, and they can both be used without the unearth. It's just a bonus that you can have access to the unearth ability as well. So, so if I will figure this out, this land base first, because that might affect if I wanna cut 2 or 1 creature, 2 or 1. Sorry, that was 26. So either I will cut 2 or 3 cards. Yeah. So Evolving Wilds with a minimum of 1 mountain. I kind of like 2, but then again 2. The problem is I might, hit one of my chaplains, which will hit my 1 mountain, and then I never have access to the unearth options, because these are of course very good unearths here, especially for the research desk. You get to just reuse the effect here for fairly cheap, a total of 3 mana to get the better card out of the top 2. It's really worth it. So let's try to do the 2 mountain version of the deck first, and then the minimum amount of swamps. I would think the Misery Shadow, the Legions to Ashes, and the Hero of the Dunes, they are my only black cards. I might have some black on earth costs, or do I? Oh, I do have the Goring Warbler, which also likes to have access to the black early. So basically that is 4 cards that I might want to use with black mana, because of course this is uncastable until I have 6 mana, unless I have the swamp. So 4 cards. Yeah, I could see drawing 2 or 3 of them in the top 12 cards or so. It's not impossible at all. So I want to be fairly consistent with my black mana. So I feel like it could be even like a 4 swamps. Now don't get I mean, I have here 26 spells still, so even if I add 4 swamps here, it doesn't mean that I have only room for 7 planes. I will be cutting at least 2 cards, but I want to just check out the mana base here. So 4 swamps, which are they gonna be? These ones. That gives me like 5 ways to get black mana, and then of course that will, if I play 16 lands, that requires, this is now 7, so I have room for 9 planes, which is not the amount of planes I want to play with, with that triple laydown arms, but I also can get planes with the airlift chaplains. So I think I will be able to exile 3 mana creatures quite often, and sometimes 4 mana creatures, but definitely something like 5 mana creatures won't happen all the time with this deck. But yeah, this is the 16 land setup with 2 mountains with 4 swamps. I'm really happy about picking the Evolving Wilds there. I think it was just important. I think I missed out on another copy of a research desk by doing so, but at least it makes my mana less awkward, I would really want to have another Evolving Wilds, because if I did, I could just cut, replace 1 mountain with an Evolving Wilds, and then maybe cut even extra swamp as well, and have even more ways to get a lot of planes for these laydown arms things. Now this will be still good against aggressive decks, and the format is, of course, it has a lot of aggressive decks, and if it comes to that, I can sideboard 1 or 2 of these out of the deck if the opponent is really just all about heavy hitters. Anyway, I'm gonna play 16 lands, and this will be the mana setup here. Let's just make sure I have 16. Indeed I do. So that means 2 more cards. Now I think 1 Tokaz's Amulet should be cut from the main deck, and then it's between the Supply Drop and Lawrence Escape. That is now at least 13 creatures, better than what it looked like earlier in the draft. I wonder if I want to just protect my bombs with the Lawrence Escape rather than. And this does have the Scry one. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna cut the Supply Drop here. And this is the deck. So ideally I will have only one swamp, one mountain, and the rest will be plains. That's my priority to fetching with the Evolving Wilds. But of course this deck can have a starting hand with 2 swamps, one mountain. And then that means I will have a little bit harder time getting good value out of the laydown arms. Now it is a possibility that I should cut one more swamp and add one more plains. That is something I could do. I am just not sure if I want to do that. That would only leave me with 3 ways to get a swamp. Sorry, that would be still 4 ways to get a swamp. Plus I have the research desk, I have the free card draw here, I have the scry here. Yeah, I have the dig deeper ability in here. Let's try it, and if I get frustrated about not having my swamps when I need them, then I will readjust. But yeah, this is 4 ways to get a swamp, plus all the slight tuning. Even if this dies, I can scry twice with this thing when it's in my graveyard. Or I might just mill it and not peg it, and then it will be in my graveyard. Alright, so I do this, but this is mostly because of the triple laydown arms. If I had like 1 laydown arms, I think the 9 plains 4 swamp configuration would be better, but I do want to be able to get some good mana advantage out of these things. So this will be the main deck now. Alright, that's a fine hand. I have access to this exile effect 2-drop, and well, not exactly a 3-drop without another early play. I guess if I find the 0 mana artifact, the Mistras Bubble, then I can still have access to this on turn 3. Okay, the opponent did mulligan to 6. They also are playing a 50 land deck. Okay. I can play the Paratrooper, and I actually don't know if I want... Well, no, I will always want to fetch them swamp first. Because that's the more important one than the mountains. But of course, if I just draw 1 swamp here, then I could of course, get a mountain. But I still have 2 mountains in the deck, and it's not so critical to get them. Here I will of course just... well, not show the opponent what I'm gonna fetch. I can play the elite on the next turn by tapping my 4th land. I think I'm gonna exile that thing though. Well, I'm gonna get the swamp regardless, but because I have the Warblow, which I might want to play at. Okay, but there's the there is the mountain too. Now the Helm of the Host gives me so much use for my mana that I do think it's better now to... Okay, I need a 3rd plains if I want to exile that. Yeah, let's give them some life. Let's give them some life, and can't play the elite now, but I'm gonna play these just because, this is 4 to cast, 5 to equip, so there's no point waiting until I can use 6 mana on the Warblow. This still trades with everything they might have. Sprite is fine. Okay, so I can this turn play the... I want to play the elite this turn, which means that I'm gonna play the statue. Then I can tap the statue. Okay, so I can attack with one of these guys. Well, I guess I'll attack with the flyer then, because they can't even choose to block it. Let's not give him the opportunity to do so. So I can do this, and then I can cast the elite by tapping the Warblow and the statue in additional, and as an additional cost. Now I have a 4/4 which can also block the sprite here. Okay, and then of course the Helm of the Host will take over any game where you have time to use it, although, well, I mean, I guess when they play the Revoker now, they're gonna name the statue there, of course, so this is still totally good to go. The only problem with the Helm of the Host is that if the opponent, plays like a... I mean, they haven't really played much, but if you don't really often have time to use this, and then they might have interaction, especially if it is instant speed interaction, it's a lot of mana to waste on this thing. So this is actually an ambush paratrooper, not the levitating statue. Interesting. Well, I guess I'm gonna attack with the statue in that case, because I do have mana to play this then, and I play pre-combat to get the counter on this thing. And then I will just, just attack here. Who are gonna attack here? They are holding some kind of trick there. But I don't mind losing my Warlord's Elite on a trick, although it's a good blocker there, forcing them to use that trick. I mean, if it's like a giant growth, it's a bit unfortunate they can block with the sprite. I'm actually gonna leave this home for now and see what they're gonna... It could be a Gaia's gift, yeah, and then they get reach on one of the guys, they get to kill one of these. Yeah, that was a Gaia's gift. So in the end, actually the attack with the Elite would have been pretty great, because they can't even block the Elite beneficially with the 3-3. They could double block, but they would still lose the Revoker. Now they got rid of the Paratrooper, which was already, you know, shut down by the Revoker, although the Revoker might not survive for long here. Okay, so they do have another trick too. So this seems like a... I'm gonna play around the giant growth now, and it works so that I can do the... I can block the Revoker. I hope they don't have the, by the way, the black +2/+0 thing. Because then this would return, they can actually say Helmet of the Host on the ability. I also want to actually, you know, copy this Warlord's Elite rather than my 1/1 Death Toucher. You know what, I'm taking the 5 here. The Ornithopter is, you know, really a card with no particular use, so... So I'm not worried about them having such cards in their deck. Now let's do this thing. Let's see if I get to actually go to combat and make a copy of that thing. Yep, that works. So I guess at this point I can just attack with everything. I can't block the sprite with the Warblow, and I have a first striker to block the Revoker. So yeah, let's start the race now. I already also have a 2/2 flyer here, once I have mana to use it. Okay, this thing has death touch, so is that gonna be like another Gaia's gift? That's the only thing that makes any sense. Oh, so they actually did have the Ashnod's intervention. So if I did, you know, block this thing with the 4/4, that this would have been a 4/1 kill my guy, and then they would have recast it, naming my equipment. So I'm pretty happy I played around that card. Also, I didn't want to lose my 4/4, which was a much better, you know, equipped target than the 1/1 Death Toucher I had going on. Okay, so now they can attack for 3. Revoker can't attack into the Survivor, and I'm of course gonna snap block with the Survivor, because I don't mind trading that thing into a combat trick they might have. The problem the opponent is facing is of course my multiplying elites here. Okay, Clay Champion was cast with green, yeah. It asks for target for the fight mana option, but it's, I mean, it will ask it even if you don't use fight mana to cast it, but that was a 4 mana 5/5, which is good. So I do have mana to make these statues. They won't be, I mean, the new statues won't be that big though. But I don't really want to attack into the 5/5. So let's see if I do attack into the 5/5. I have 3 of these elites. Now they can only kill 2 of them. One of them will be eaten by a Clay Champion. The other one can be double blocked, but of course double block would be very good for me, because they would lose both of their guys. I would still have an elite left, and then they can use some jump blocking here. So yeah, I think it's still worth it to force through. Yeah, I think it's worth it. I will have mana to equip the helm post combat, for instance. No point attacking with the 1/1 here. Yeah, I don't mind if they... I mean, I just got one for free. I have already gotten two for free, so I don't mind if the champion eats that thing. They are gonna die if they don't make some blocks at least. So the Ornithopter jumps and they go down to 3 here now. And I can't... I don't think I'm gonna play the Mutt even here. I'm just going to... Sorry, equip is 5. I actually thought it was 4, but it was the other way around. Well, in that case, I'm gonna play the Mutt. There's nothing to discard, but I don't care. Yeah, and they were really not interested in continuing here. But yeah, I really thought equip was 4, but that was... Oh, okay, they just conceded. Well, I mean, sure. They could have still won the next 2 games. I mean, I might have bad draws. They might have good draws, but well, I guess I'll take it. Okay, so the opponent did in fact concede right after, during sideboarding after game 1. Well, this is an easy keep, of course. I'm wondering if I'm supposed to keep the Mistress Bubble around for a little while, just to, you know, make it a bit easier to cast my, what is it, Warlord's Elites. Because I know I'm gonna play the Paratrooper and the Siege Veteran as my 2 and 3, pretty much regardless. I'm not going to even show them I have the bubble. I guess I'm now denying myself the ability to actually use it if I really want to use it, but I'm not sure if I care about it that much. Oh, the opponent starts with some great stuff here. I'm going to just block the recruitment officer here with the ambush paratrooper. See what happens. They can grow the assembler, but they can't target the officer with the ability. And then well, am I gonna hope that my siege veteran is gonna... I mean, I hope they don't have removal on the siege veteran. I guess that's just how it goes. Next turn I will probably play and crack the bubble. Or actually I will do it on this turn cycle. I'll do it in their upkeep if they have like a Gix's Caress. They might have a Swamp and Gix's Caress. I'll do it on the upkeep, see what they draw. Because I might want to have some, you know, better draws now than just a Chaplain. They are having their Scrapwork cover. That's a good one for sure, but at least that doesn't kill the siege veteran. I can't obviously block it because they can just make it into a 4/4. Okay, they are not playing the cohort this turn. I guess they don't have the 4th land, or they have like a 3-drop they wanna use. Okay, they had no 4th land. Okay, that's a land and that's an elite, but I needed to crack the bubble because otherwise I wouldn't have even drawn this thing. Okay, so am I gonna start pumping some other guy here? The elite can be a 5/5. I can then block the assembler because this is just dealing a ton of damage, as you can see. Right, let's do it like this. I'm gonna tap these things. So I do it pre-combat, so I can give the counter to the elite now. And if the elite gets killed by some kind of combat trick, I at least get a 1/1 token out of it, which allows me some further jump blocking. Okay, they play a Rager now, so they will be attacking this turn. Yeah, that is a lot of plays. Now I do have 3 ways to exile this, so hopefully I draw one of them. I might... Yeah, I should use all the plays here. Of course, I don't have any double white card here. Let's do this, see what I mill here. Of course, my number of lands in my hand is really awkward. I don't really need another plane, so I'm gonna decline this. So I guess these were 2 decent cards. I could even play the Woblo at 6 without the swamps, but oh well. Now, will I keep... I really would want to attack for 6, but then again I would have to take this Vigilance guy. Yeah, I guess I'll just start growing my flyer here. That's what I'm gonna do here. I can still block the assembler here. That's not an assembly worker, so they can only target the assembler itself. I might need some other help from my deck, even though the siege veteran is good. I'm not. Yeah, the opponent has 4 cards in hand, and I know they are not lands. So even though the board state is such that it's not so bad for me. Okay, that's not the greatest thing to draw. So now I have to make the elite into a 6/6 because this will pump itself and then it threatens to pump again. So, I mean, I'll just do that. But I'm not dealing a lot of damage here. That is the problem. Okay. So I do have the scrapwork mutt in the deck, so I should keep some of these lands in my hand, but I can also draw the exile effect, which of course would be targeting these 2 mana creatures, so I don't need 7 lands to exile any 7 drops right now. At least I didn't mill any of them. Okay, they're gonna get a cohort being a 4/2 or target the 1/1. These are the options there. Both of those are soldiers. I don't think they're gonna attack now because they are tapped out on that thing. So, oh, that's a shame. That's too much lands, too many lands. But I guess I have the opportunity now to give the counter to the chaplain. They don't have mana open to make the assembler into a 6/6 right now. But I will be in trouble here because they have actually 4 spells in their hand, and I'm only at 11 here. Okay, I can have a jump block levitating statue. I can block with the elite, but they can attack with all the entire team here. If they like kill the elite. Okay, now they found a swamp, so I'm afraid they will have a removal spell on, well, some of my guys now. But yeah, this is a lot of lands, of course. A lot of lands now. I have a 16 land deck, 1 in my graveyard, 3 here, so that's 10 lands I've seen. So I have 6 lands and 16 spells left in the deck. That's a lot of a high ratio of spells. Alright, so they get rid of my siege veteran, and they can attack at least in the air for 3 points. Even if I draw a Helm of the Host, I can't play and equip it. It requires 9 mana total. No attacks. I guess they don't. If they don't have a tricks, they don't. Okay, well they can do that. They can force me to now, you know, block the assembler, which will just make the elite trade with the assembler. Or I can eat the 4/2 and take, you know, a lot of damage. That's 3. I would take 10 damage. Yeah, it's just not gonna work. I can animate the statue. I don't think I have any way to win though. And I think I need to grow this guy so that it can block better. So let's take the massive amount of damage they're gonna deal here. It's, you know, 8. I will be at 3 life without any way to deal 12 to them on the next turn. Yeah, I needed one of my exile effects on the rare. If that happened, I think would have been better. Okay, the opponent's deck is also pretty full of good cards. Double recruitment officer, for instance. Yeah, that's now. I mean, with all these lands, I still have none of my swamps, so that was a little bit a tough one. Alright, so they have that kind of stuff, which means that do I care about anything in my sideboard? I do not mind having the colorless thing. They have 2/2/1s at least. It's a good card to block their cohort also. I have the removal for the assembler, I just didn't draw it. Yeah, I think my deck is fairly well positioned against their deck. I just had a pretty bad set of draws there, so let's not sideboard anything. Okay, well, I'm going to keep this. I need any land to play the chaplain and then maybe have more stuff going on. They did mulligan to 7. Sorry, 6 of course. They kept 6 very quickly. Okay. Should I play the Warblow right now? I mean, yeah, it's better than the statue, which I don't know when it's gonna be used. But I do want to play the statue before playing any of these non-creatures. Okay, that's... well, I guess that's going to happen now. If they kill the Warblow, I'm gonna let them do that. I will pick up the counters for the levitating statue with these things, so... Okay, they have a paratrooper. I now do need one planes to actually make the lay down arms do at least something. That's pretty important. That is a shame. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice contrast to the previous game where I just flooded out. And now I get... well, I guess I've drawn 3 cards, none of which was a land. And the opponent did mulligan, and they haven't actually done that much here either, so I don't mind. I mean, I still am totally winning this game. I mean, at least I have a chance to win if I just draw exactly this stuff. Now there's a good reason to wait until 4 mana so that the siege veteran can be protected by the Lawrence Escape. So I'm gonna just play the Airlift Chaplain anyway, because of course I also want to hit my 4th land, so I'm very likely to pick a planes if I just find one of them among the milled cards. There it is. Okay, that's perfect. Now next turn I can play the veteran and protect it with the escape. And you know, tempo wise this is not a bad. They have 2 power worth of creatures and they actually are not even able to attack now anymore. So what I can do here is I can keep the ambush paratrooper counter now and attack with the Warblow and the paratrooper. And I let him use something like a disenchant. I will save the Lawrence Escape definitely for... I mean, I don't care about the 1/1 Death Toucher, but I do care about having the Siege Veteran up. Am I gonna play the Amulet on the next turn though? Well, let's first see if I have to use the Escape. Yeah, I do. So they have to sack the wings to make this work, and now of course this is just perfect. I think I'm now winning this game. Yeah, I don't... I mean, I can exile up to 4 mana creatures, so I don't think I need the planes here. With 4 planes I can exile 4 drops. So... I just play the Amulet now because I lost my escape. And I think I should... I'm gonna keep the Chaplain an additional counter. This is fine. I can attack with everything here. And then I can just play the Amulet. I play the planes here because, I mean, I guess the opponent can't have a 5-drop on the next turn. But, yeah, if I draw a planes on the next turn, then I have an option to at least exile 5 drops. But that wasn't really gonna happen when they have only 3 lands. Yeah, I think this game is over now. They got to the stuff they need, but of course my board is overwhelming, and I also have the another activation up with the paratrooper, so that's that. Did I learn anything else about their deck? They have a disenchant, the Fracture I knew about, well, regular creatures. So disenchant is good against the Helm of the Host. It's actually not that good against my deck. I don't even have the pacifism variant, so I don't mind them having that. I don't think I want to cut. I do like the 1 survivor of Corlys to block their stuff early. Yeah, I believe this is the... I mean, yeah, I have the one very juicy disenchant target, but what if I'm gonna cut this, I mean, this is also the why I win a button in some games when the board is slightly stalled. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that in my deck. So let's do this. Let's see if they have the mulligan now, or do they have a good explosive start? Okay, well, I'm going to keep... They keep 7, I keep 7. I have my swamp in here. And they have a recruitment officer. Oh, I actually have my mountain in here. I think I'm just going to fetch the mountain right away. Yeah. I don't have to worry about, you know, getting these mountains milled or anything. And now am I going to block the officer? Because the siege veteran can actually make the paratrooper into a 2-3, but I also don't like this being around when they have extra mana for it. So I want to maybe get rid of it anyway. So might as well try it. Seems to be working. Chap line, milling, plains, swamp plains. Okay, do they want to have a land or make it 2-2? They chose to get the land. Okay, so again, if they have the power stone fracture or something, this is gonna die just like that. But look at my hand, this is just flooded out again. So I have not much options. That's an iron swings which take... Okay, there's the... No, just an equip. Okay, I was already afraid if they have a fracture there. Okay, lay down arms will be useful at some point. Oh man, if I get to copy this thing, that's game over. Okay, that's gonna happen on the next turn if they don't have the removal for it. Or disenchant for the Helm of the Host, which they could also have. Let's see how if they leave 2 mana up. Yeah, double siege veteran, they can't beat that. Okay, Hero of the Dunes, it's really good. It's just not gonna be good enough here now. Oh man. And I even get the 5th planes now, which is, you know, if I want to exile this thing, it's totally fine. So, of course, the other one won't trigger because I don't have the token yet. But, let's see, I do need to be careful about, you know, not dying. So if I am going to... Yeah, I mean, I would want to attack, but they might just double block and it's not that great. I get the 1/1 token though, but I mean, I'm more worried about them not blocking at all, and I'm gonna have a lot of damage dealt to me, so I'm not going to attack now. But the flyer is a slight problem, and of course, well, maybe the Iron Swings is the problem here. But I hope they like equip the Hero of the Dunes, maybe attack for 6 in the air as a result. Then I exile. Yeah, I mean, I might still lose if I don't draw more of my removal. Because this, I can gain life myself, but of course I have to use these things on the opponent's things. Yeah, it's not a good spot to be in. Okay, yeah, I was wondering why would they attack with the officer. Okay, the opponent can actually battle through this stuff, which is pretty... I mean, they deserve the win for sure if they win now. But it's not over. I can exile the Hero of the Dunes, unless they have a means to protect it. Let's see what's their play now. Or is there any play? I hope they do have a play of some kind, yeah. So it's easier for me to... Oh, that's a good one. Easier for me to... you know, decide what to do. So if I exile the Hero of the Dunes pre-combat... Oh, actually I can't both exile it and play the Misery Shadow. That's a bummer actually, because I need the 5/5 planes for that. It's mana value, isn't it? Yep, that's right. So that's a... So this mountain... Well, this was the mountain I fetched with the Evolving Wild, so I haven't actually played any of these swamps. But yeah, alright. How to do it? Do I mind if they double block the veteran here? Well, I need to exile the Hero of the Dunes regardless here. Yeah, I just have to do it. So sadly, I can't play the Misery Shadow now. Alright, they get some life. Now let's... Okay, come on. These can target... I guess I'm just attacking for a lot with this one guy. I'm gonna give one counter. Yeah, this is fine. Now I get another 2-2. So I'm gonna attack with this thing. And probably going to attack with 2-2 as well. I'm dying actually in the area. That is kind of funny. If I attack with everything, do I have because they can equip one of these 2-power guys, and I'm actually dead in 2 attacks. So I do need to. So if I attack with everything, I'm basically not dead. Oh no, I'm dead because they can give plus. Yeah, they have 6 if they have any artifact that's cheap enough. I have to leave 1 blocker, I guess. Well, I'm gonna leave 1 blocker. I'm gonna do it like this. This is maximizing the damage anyway. Now I do need to draw another point of removal. Yeah, the Aeronaut's Wings is the card that's actually beating me here. That's the card that's gonna beat me. If I'm getting beat. And of course it is currently I could even lose on this turn. If they have some kind of a combination of things. This thing has vigilance, but if it attacks... Well, I mean, if they give it flying, then it will also be able to block. Alright, alright. Assembler. Yep, I mean, that is now 5 damage in the air. Probably they attack only... Okay, this is good. This gives me 2 tokens. No, it doesn't because it's non-token. Obviously, the tokens don't work like that. But I have to make the block anyway. Yep. Yeah, it would be pretty sick if the tokens, respawned more tokens. But now it's all about me having removal or not. I don't get the removal, so I lose this regardless. I mean, opponent kind of deserves the win. This is a really sick combination. But it was funny how one Aeronaut's Wings can just make such a big difference here. They had no attacks in the ground, but they had all the flyers they needed. Okay, 3rd match. I'm on the draw now. Finally, I think there was a lot of matches on the play, considering also my previous draft. Right, because in the previous draft I had I won all the coin tosses. Alright, this is a keep. It's a bit awkward if I don't draw more lands, but at least the chaplain can find me more planes. I'm not sure if I own ideally. I wouldn't have drawn a 5-drop here. But the problem here is, of course, that laydown arms isn't that good without the planes, and the Evolving Wilds wants me to find the hero of the swamp for my black cards. Also, if I don't play the Evolving Wilds on this turn, I might miss out on my 2-drop. Well, I'm gonna, gamble a bit here. I mean, I want to see if I draw either plains or a swamp before I commit on this. And I guess that also means I don't, I thin my deck. I have a highest chance to now draw lands when I don't fetch a land yet. But I will have to. I might, fall down in tempo a bit. But at least the opponent doesn't seem to have a. Maybe they have 1-drop actually. No, they did not. Alright, plains is great. Now this means that I'm going to just play the Paratrooper, and the next turn I can use the Evolving Wilds to get this swamp. I think with 2 planes I'm happy enough. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not going to get a 3rd place with this thing. I'll just attack for 1. Play this thing, play the Survivor of Colis, and then, well, I do have the Lorance Escape up, but obviously it's not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna block and then use the escape just to prevent 3 damage from being dealt to me. Chaplain will hopefully find me another land. And I might mill something, well, anything I can pick with this creature, I mean, is also a target for this thing. So let's see if they have a 5-drop artifact, just a boldly 4-drop artifact, alright. So that can't also be exiled, even if I fetch a plains. And that requires 4 plains to be exiling that thing, so let's get the swamp now. That's the most important thing now that I do have the Hero of the Dunes here. Alright, so this means I can just play the chaplain first. See what I mill here. Well, nothing I can keep. I mean, none of these is keepable, which is fine, I guess, because now what I can do is I can trade with the opportunist, or maybe just use the Lawrence escape rather. Maybe that is better. I could also double block the golem with the 1-2 and 2-2, and then say one of my guys. I mean the one they put on first on the line. I'm not going to do anything this turn, not even attack. I will just yeah, so currently I don't have anything to pick with this thing, but I'm thinking one of these guys will die. So if they attack with both, I'm kind of tempted to just double block the Boulder Branch Golem, but let's see what they do. They still have 2 mana up. Maybe 3 if they drew a land here. It would be safer to try to just trade with the opportunist, but pushback, they get a land, they're not gonna fight. Okay, they will still have 2 lands. Yeah, I don't mind one of my guys actually dying because of the Hero of the Dunes. But I don't have mana for the hero yet, and I have another 5-drop I could play. Oh, they have a 4th. First of all, they don't attack. Second of all, they have a 4th color in their deck. Alright, so maybe it's time to lay down arms a bit, because I have an extra copy of the one. Yeah, I'm not going to attack. It's kind of awkward to not attack, but they have so much more life than I. They have gained 6 here thanks to me giving them 3 and this thing giving them 3. So if I attack with the flyers, they go to 22, I go to 14 for no reason basically. So I'm just going to block that thing. If it's gonna attack. And I don't think I'm gonna even use the Lawrence escape if they let the trade go through. Because I don't mind losing one of my guys, which I can immediately bring back with the Hero of the Dunes once I draw the 5th land. It's also a bit risky to be the first one too. Okay, yeah, this is fine. That was only 1 for 1 here. But yeah, it's quite risky to use the escape there when they have passed the priority. It's just safe for me to let the trade happen. I would not mind having the scry option there, but currently the opponent doesn't have anything, but they do have access to what 6 mana here, so I'm pretty scared about the stuff. Okay, I'm gonna save that so that they don't get the Power Stone, and I get to scry now, and it's gonna give me the plains, which is good because I now can have a possibility to exile even 4 drops with that thing. But yeah, it's just I mean, I don't have to. I could just go with the Amulet first, but now let's go for this. Chaplain giving me nothing again. Well, it's a 2-2 flyer, I guess a 3-2 with the Hero of the Dunes. So there was one of my mountains. I still have 1 mountain left in the deck, but no Evolving Wilds, so the only way to get it is just to draw it. I still have 2 of my red unearthers left. I also lost the Legions to Ashes here, which is a bit unfortunate, but I guess I do have the laydown arms. I'm just worried they're gonna have a 7-drop here. 7-drop there, which I can't really use. I can't bring down with the laydown arms, but I have of course a lot of creatures here. They have a bolt here. Okay, so much for the mass pump. They still have access to 4 cards, so I'm not too happy. So they made the 4 mana version, and I drew the 1-off mountain, and which is also pretty relevant for the, you know, so that I can cast the Amulet now. So I'm gonna exile this thing because it is a 4-drop. They didn't play it as a 7-drop, so this is kinda okay. They have still 20 life, but I have at least a Paratrooper activation here up, so I can attack for 5 in the air. And I can still draw, well, I can't draw Helm of the Host. I can't draw, well, I do still have, of course, my, the Siege Veteran, what's the Bomber. And what else do I have here? The Misery Shadow. Also very high impact card, so 2 bombs I can still draw. And, well, it really depends on what the opponent is having here. Because the 4 cards in their hand is really scary. They could be like more Boulder Branch Golems, and once they have an extra land they can gain another 6 and totally make me unable to attack in the ground. Oh, well, actually that's not exactly true, it's a 6-5 and I can make this into a 5-5 with the Ambush Paratrooper, so that's not the end of the world right away. Okay, they are thinking about the play. I wonder what all the colors are for, because I see red and green here. I guess the red could be a splash for these 2 removal spells, but I haven't seen anything black, anything white. What's in exile here? Green. Green is definitely one of their main colors. They have the refractor also to get any color. So Stoneseeker, okay, that's a good card, but not necessarily in this board state, so excellent. They did get another Power Stone token, an Obelisk Engineer is killing my survivors, I believe. Or maybe they, you know, who knows what they choose. Okay, they kill the survivors. They could have made it into a 3-3 and then my survivors wouldn't have been able to attack anyway. Well, this is easy. I'll just pump my team here. They take a nice chunk of damage here, and then I can still... This Scry requires 1 white, but I can just play my planes there. They take a nice chunk of damage there, and I will be able to Scry with this thing to get me some better draws. But now they have the 7 mana. Boulder Branch Golem is on the table. I'm pretty sure that that's a... Well, I can't be sure about it, but it's a likely card they're holding here. Because on the previous turn they did not have the 7 mana. Now thanks to the Stoneseeker they do. So they could be going to 16 now, and that would be problematic for me. My clock isn't that great, and they're gonna be able to attack for 4 now, so I go to 13 myself. But if they leave one of these as a blocker, I'm quite happy, because of course they do need to... I mean, if they are not raising me in the ground, I'm gonna beat them in the air, so... Okay, yeah, I kind of assumed they're gonna attack with both, and they still have 3 spells in their hand, so they're gonna be able to do something with the... Okay, well that's not a Boulder Branch Golem, that's a 2-7. Well, okay, nice combination with the Evolving Wilds, of course, but I can attack for 5 in the air now, if I want to. And then I have a 4-4 to block all these guys. Well, not the Menace guy. Okay, let's see if I get a bomb here. Well, there's a Misery Shadow. I don't think I need a Plains Nub. Misery Shadow, definitely. I can even cast it while I pump my flyer, so that's pretty sweet. Yep, let's do it. So I'm threatening Lethal on the next turn. Yeah, Swamp won't get tapped here now. And I do have blockers on the ground. And of course the Misery Shadow is not great for them. They do get the Behemoth Evolving Wilds combination rolling, but it's not that great when they are facing an imminent death. Okay, I'm gonna... Well, no, I was gonna say I'm gonna pause pause until they decide to do something. So now, of course, I could double block, lose one Misery Shadow. They lose one of their Power Stones, but they still have, you know, they have 7 mana even with 1 Power Stone. And of course, the Misery Shadow is such a huge threat that I can take 2 damage here. Because these of course have menace, so I can't just block with the 4/4. Now here is the card I was expecting them to have. So I believe they had it on the previous turn, but maybe they just wanted to get the Evolving Wild stuff going on first. Alright. That's a good one, but I mean I have a lot of use for 1 mana already. So let's see if the Misery Shadow attacks. I can make it into a 9/9. So they can put all the guys on front of it. So if they put the Boulder Branch Golem and the Engineers, well, it's not enough. So I mean, they will put every, but then they take the Amulet. Huh. Problem is they can just put the Behemoth in and I would have to use 6 of my mana just to kill it, and then they have a good attack back. Yeah, I think I just gonna go with the desk right now. That's the best thing to do right now. So let's see what I get here. Scrapwork Mutt. Mutt is good, but I'm not even sure it's what I want here. Might have want to have access to more mana, and the plains isn't bad. I can exile even a 7-drop if I draw. Well, I would still need another plains for that. But actually, I don't think the Mutt is gonna be that great. I'm gonna take the land because I have use for this all this mana. And now I'm going to simply attack for 3 in the air. No point pumping using 5 mana to just deal 2 extra damage, because I want to leave the Misery Shadow here, you know, as a big enough creature to block any of these things. It threatens to be an 8/8, so they can't really attack into it now. Of course, if they just have a, you know, exile the Misery Shadow effect or whatever removal, then I'm dead. But it's not like I'm gonna beat them through a removal spell anyway. Now they could be holding some lands too, because they have for many turns now played the Evolving Wilds from their graveyard. They don't necessarily have any more 3 spells in hand. Though of course they do thin their deck quite a bit. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 lands on the battlefield, 1 in the graveyard. That means they have like roughly 8 or 9 in the deck and hand combined. That's 20 cards. Yeah, they could have a land or 2 in their hand. But of course now I can take some damage obviously, but if they have a removal on the Misery Shadow, I would have to take the Boulder Branch Golem or jump block with the Amulet, which, you know, it's not the worst thing ever, because no, actually I don't have to jump block it with the Amulet. I do have the Paratrooper activation up as well, so I can make the Amulet into a 5/5. Okay, the opponent is again in the Think Tank. They have used, well, I have used like 7 minutes, they have used 9 minutes, so let's see. So they do have the exile effect on that, but my Amulet can still trade with the Golem. They can attack of course with the Stone Seeker, which I can't block, and now my mana goes to waste. But this is of course the Unearth is a sorcery. Well, the mana doesn't go exactly to waste because I have the mana available. That makes their attacks worse here. Mainly the Golem. So they only do that, and then I hope I get some good stuff. Well, that's a Death Toucher. I still threaten to deal, you know, lethal in the air on the next turn. So here is 8 mana. So I can't do the Research Desk and the Warblow. That I cannot do. But I can attack for 3 in the air right now. They go to 5, and next turn I can again I threaten to deal the remaining 5 with the pump. Previously they were able to use this Golem to get out of that range. So it is tempting to use the research desk here now. But I think the guarding warplow is what I really need to do. Yeah, if I use this and I don't pick a land, then I won't have the 6 mana, and I think I will still want to have a 5/4 here. Oh man, that's so tough, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, and this is fine enough. Hopefully they don't attack with everything and just win that way. But I mean, they don't have that much power there. I can take these 2/2s, and look at this. These flyers actually did the job. So just like I lost in the previous match, the third game, to opponent just having flyers. Now I just won with these two pretty insignificant guys, but they just didn't have anything to deal with them or gain more life. And I have seen that's the theme sometimes in this format. So even these 1 power and 2 power flyers can be your means to deal some damage when you get to lock down the ground. Okay, so what did I learn from the opponent? I would play Disenchant if I had one, but I don't think I ever got to. Yeah, I saw maybe like one in the draft pretty early, and I didn't get any other opportunity to play the card. Now, I don't like my 4/4s necessarily against their 2/7s and 6/5s, and there's a 2/5/2 here somewhere. Yeah, 2/5/4/6. Yeah, but the Onulet isn't that great against that stuff. But what is the option here? Should I play like 1 supply drop instead of 1 Onulet? I think I like that idea. Let's play 1 supply drop instead of 1 Onulet. How about the Survivor of Colis? I don't think it's really good against this kind of deck, so I should just cut it. It's just not doing enough here. Should I play like a military discipline? I have 11 creatures here though. That's a really low amount. I'm not sure if I like to play this without access to blue at all. Power Blade, how many soldiers? Only 5, that's not a lot. Let's do the little trick here. Who knows, maybe it's gonna do some kind of job. Okay, that's a good hand. I don't have a 2-drop, but of course the Siege Veteran is good, and I can exile something with the Laydown Arms. Yeah, it's tempting to get the Mountain, but it's also tempting. I might need the Plains. Actually, I'm choosing not to play the Evolving Wilds at all yet. If I draw like well, especially if I draw the Mountain, it would be, or one of the 2 mountains, that would be easy. But I think I'm going to just wait for a bit. I don't necessarily want to wait anymore though, because I might want to play this on turn 3, this on turn 4. Okay, I'm going to fetch. Let's see what they drop. Okay, nothing yet, so I also kind of want to play the Veteran once I have the Veteran Lawrence Escape up. Okay, you know what? I think my Laydown Arms won't do much without the Plains, so I'm gonna do that. I can still draw one of them. Man, I really wanted to draw a creature here. But I have seen that the 2 red removal spells from the deck. I'm actually, because they haven't played a creature, I'm going to wait here. I'm gonna save this with the Lawrence Escape at least once. It's really terrible use of mana, but the opponent hasn't done much either. But yeah, I was saying that my Laydown Arms isn't gonna do anything with just the 2 planes, so I wanted to fetch the planes there. Now I can play this thing. And then I can... Well, I have to take 4 here, that's not great, but... Okay, they have a Dissident there, sure. No removal. Is that really so? So I can make this into a 4 power first striker, but it doesn't help against the 4-5, so no blocks there. And then what happens? They didn't play a pre-combat artifact for the Dissident to grow the Crusher, so I don't expect them to have any of that. Oh, they should have done that pre-combat, right? Because, I mean, this Power Stone triggers this and this deals more, but, well, I mean, I'm just happy this plan worked. Recommission isn't bad, that gets me that thing back. So do I have stuff to do on the next turn if I draw a recommission? I guess I can. I will use the laid down arms. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna draw it, and I'm gonna use the laid down arms on the Dissident before it gets out of hand. And now, of course, I have the supply drop and the discipline here. So I can just remain and block there. And if it still dies, I can bring it back with the recommission or with the Hero of the Dunes. Oh, that was perfect. That was perfect indeed. They might have the Exile Burn spell though, but I think they would have used that pre-combat. Well, there's not much to do. I could, play the Helm or just draw a card. Not sure which is the better one. I think I do want to hit my 5th land, so let's not do the Helm yet. Land, please. Well, that's not a land, but it's a good rare creature too. They had no place there. I wonder if they're just holding a Boulder Branch Golem there. Well, now we will see it. They have 7 mana now, that's what it is. And what I can do here myself is, of course, play the Helm of the Host. Have the Discipline up. Hope it's good enough. There's no target for the Hero of the Dunes now. I guess it can get the supply drop, it actually can, but I'm not interested in that. Because it also brings artifacts that are 3 or less. I could play the Misery Shadow too. I'm not sure if I want to actually... Okay, fine. I'm going to do it like this. I'm gonna do it like this, and I will actually attack here with this thing. Because I can, if they take it, I can still block with the Misery Shadow, make it into a first striker big enough to kill it, but this is also very fine. So now they have 2 very nasty rares to deal with. So yeah, this wasn't enough in the previous match when I lost still the game 3, but now it was, I mean, the opponent really didn't do much, and I was able to counter their Excavation Explosion, so it was a correct play to not do anything on turn 3, just play this on turn 4 with the Lordance Escape up. And then, of course, I drew the planes I needed to deal with the Crusher, and of course, yeah, I played... Sorry, I actually dealt with the Dissident in this game. It was in the previous game where I dealt with the Crusher. In this game I dealt with this using the supply drop. But yeah, that was it. The first match, of course, the opponent conceded the match after losing 1 game. The second match I lost, but it was a 3-gamer. I had some mana issues there, but regardless, this third match was against a slow deck, and the Laydown Arms wasn't the greatest card against the deck that routinely plays like a 5 and 7 drops, but it still did a decent job here. The deck is, of course, very good based on the bombs alone. But I guess, yeah, I could have had, maybe the Anilets would be like scrap work cohorts, and yeah, some of these cards weren't that amazing, but I'm happy how the draft went in the end. I think I had a good idea in the draft to stay mono white unless there was a reason to move to some other direction. Then it turned into something that has a little bit of red thanks to the research desk and mud. And then when I got the black good cards, I moved to splashing the black as well. which all made my laydown arms worse, but I think it's definitely worth it in the end, even though I never cast Allegiance to Ashes, and this didn't do that much, but of course it still was all worth it, I think. And I got even 2 mythic rare retro artifacts to close to the set completion, so I will be of course making a pack opening video. We'll be making a pack opening video once I'm at least mostly set complete. Let's claim the price here. I'm not sure when it is, but here is the current amount of packs: 223 and then 82 of these alchemy packs. And then depending on how many rares and mythic rares, well, I have already a full reset of rares, I don't have to worry about that. But how many mythic rares I am missing from both the main set and the retro artifact set, it depends on those numbers determine when I'm going to actually open these packs. So I haven't done the math now, but at some point in January I will be opening all these packs, hopefully completing the set. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next draft in a couple of days. Bye bye.